Hello, good evening. This is Gary. Nobody here yet, but I'm sure that somebody will come. Let's just put the chat on just in case lots of people can't hear me or can't see me or something of that type. It's Monday evening here in Lausanne, Switzerland, and we're here. And I had a bit of a problem last week. It seems that the extra bit that I added on for your delectation and pleasure, uh, Meghan and Harry and the Big Bang Theory, has created a bit of a problem with copyright. Um, in principle, I have the right to use that music because I have paid for a special service and it's not the original, but seems to have been flagged. So certain people can't see certain bits of it. So that's a bit of a problem in itself. So tonight we're going to have a look at the first part of Megan's own personal history. And so that's what we're going to look at. There's nobody. Hi there. So we're going to have a look at a bit of Megan's personal history. And if you watch all the way to the end, of you good people, then I'm going to show you something a bit fun for those, especially the younger ones that remember the Jetsons. So this is a bit of fun afterwards. But anyway, so let's first go to Megan's personal history. Who is Meghan Markle? There seemed to be a bit of problem with the sound there, which happens sometimes. I will sort that out. I know how to sort that out. Hello, this is Gary, psychologist, psychotherapist, and welcome to this, the third episode in the series, Who is Meghan Markle? As this episode is a little long, as has become my habit, I'll be editing it into two segments. So, here is the first segment on the personal history of Meghan. Yes, at last we come to Meghan. So, as we know, she was born on the 4th of August in 1981, and somewhere around 1983 her parents separated when she was about 2 years old. Her parents divorced in 1987 when she was 6. I don't think that made much difference. What I think is really much more important is the way that she spent time with her parents. Now, it is said that between 2 and 9 years old, she spent a lot of time between the two parents. They shared custody and they both looked after her equally. I personally don't believe it was as equal as that. I personally believe, and there's no way to prove it, and I haven't found any evidence of the contrary for the moment, if you could ask the people directly concerned, I might find something. So if you know anything, let me know. However, I haven't found any information on the internet. However, I do believe she spent much more than likely more time with her father than her mother, because her father was more stable, he had a fixed job, worked in the same place all the time, and her mother had already started to create projects. For instance, as I said, she went to England and things like that. I don't feel that maybe her mother was as available even during those 7 years as one might imagine. That's my personal view. In 1990, as I mentioned, Thomas Markle won $750,000 in the California State Lottery. That's his story. But I imagine that as a 9-year-old, it must have had some effect on her, and the quality of her life, which you might imagine. And maybe that's the reason why she went to live with him full time. Who knows? At 11, this is a story that's got quite a lot of publicity at the time, she wrote a letter to Procter Gamble, to Gloria Alfred, Hillary Clinton and Linda Beebe, protesting a sexist Ivory soap commercial. I don't know if you know about this story. In the commercial, it said women all over America and showed a woman washing dishes. And it seemed to her, to Meghan, that it was not very appropriate. And so she wrote a letter with the help of her father to Procter Gamble and to these other people. And she called them to change the wording of the advert to be more gender neutral. Now, one of these things, and it's not often very specified, that this was a school project. The school project was to look at these commercials and to reflect to them. And I don't know how much of it was her personal motivation and how much of it was generally what the other kids felt to do, and it was her father that helped her. And did he motivate her and support her in writing the letter? Well, I would imagine so. Now, the event was featured in a 1993 clip of her appearance on the children's show, the children's program Nick News. But she was portrayed as being the principal motivator, and she was interviewed and she gave her opinion. She talked a lot, and she was obviously very comfortable on screen. And she got a lot of positive publicity for it. So what did that do to her as a person? I don't know. But it's interesting to know that she did this. And she did a lot of other socially motivated things after that. How much of it was for attention? How much of it is really because of who she is? I've absolutely no idea. Everything in life is multifactorial. We do things for a variety of reasons. Some reasons may be more generous than others. Honestly, I don't know. But there are other situations, other stuff of her being socially aware and socially motivated. What I do know, according to the information I get, is that the next thing we hear about of any interest is that between 13 and 14 years old, she worked in a soup kitchen in Skid Row, Los Angeles. And she did that for over a year, maybe even 18 months. And she did it while she was a teenager, and she did it with her parents. So I think this is interesting because that's actually a very positive role model. So her parents were also supporting her and sort of being generous and kind and supportive to other. So that's something to be aware of. And that's actually part of her education. So more the part of who she is. And when we get to Meghan's men, over which there's a few chapters further on, you'll see there are similarities. At least one of these other men that is like that. What is also important is obviously the fact that Thomas was very generous with his money. He could certainly offer the best education, and something that people often say is she spent quite a lot of time on set with him, on General Hospital and Married with Children. So she spent quite a lot of time hanging around learning about the business, learning about lighting, learning about acting, being there quite young as a child. So that's very important. It explains her perfectionism about production and lighting, and knowledge of it, because that's something she actually knows about. So, to resume her educational journey, between 1984 and 1993, so between 3 and 12 years old, seems a little early to start, but presuming that was normal, she went to private schools, including the Hollywood Little Red Schoolhouse, more than likely quite expensive. And between 1993 and 1999, which is between about 12 and 18, she was at the Immaculate Heart High School. It's nice to say that. Immaculate Heart High School. An all-girls Catholic school in Los Angeles, more than likely also private and also more than likely very, very expensive. Then, from 1999 to 2003, that's 1822, she attended Northwest University in Illinois. She double majored in theatre and international studies, and in 2003 she graduated from Northwest University with an honours degree. Well done her. It seems she also volunteered for community organisations during her time at university. You see, this is a theme, very positive theme, which I think most people don't know about or are not interested in. That follows through most of her life, and so it seems during her university time in Northwest. During her time, she took a semester abroad in Madrid. Between 2004 2006, she had various internships, including as a junior press attaché at the US Embassy at Buenos Aires. As she was multilingual, English, French, and Spanish, which is impressive. So, that's it. Here we go for this week. That's the first part of her life. So tune in next week, next Monday, for the second part. The beginning of her career, her first marriage to Trevor, her divorce from Trevor. Not a pretty story from my point of view. Take care. See you next time. Bye for now. Gary.
Future near our grasp, you only need to ask. Look into the sky, filled with cars that fly. We live with robot clocks, ready to do our chores. Coffee brews itself while we snooze some more. The future's here, the future's now. The future.
So, what do you have?
So we have a range of models from A to G. Then we have a fun runabout we import from France. Blanche, honey.
Oh, hello, chérie, hello.
This is Blanche Cobbs.
Thanks, but no.
Allez, Blanche. That's all.
Au revoir, au revoir. Chin up, cheerio. You mean that is all that you have?
Well, actually, we still have one model left, but it is not very popular. If you want, you can take a look. Please come out, H.
Oh, thank you. I think that she'll do nicely. Come on, let's go home.
In a future near our grasp, you only need to ask. Look into the sky, filled with cars that fly. We live with robot cars, ready to do our chores. Coffee brews itself while we snooze some.
Hello, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Hi. Hope you can hear me. You let me know in the chat if you can't hear me. Anyway, because we've come to the end. That was just an extra bit of fun for the end. This is my one of my new projects. MNH in. So there you go. So anyway, for the first bit of Meghan, it is interesting how much charity work that she did do. And if you come and see me again on Monday next, you'll see she does even more charity work. I'm quite fascinated about how much charity work she did do over her life before she got involved with Harry. Of course, after with Harry, it got strange afterwards. It seemed that beforehand she seemed to do it for goodwill, and afterwards it seemed to be some sort of responsibility which she wanted to get paid for. But that's it. So that's the end of today, our little bit here. Thank you for watching. It's nice to see you. You can always send a message and tell me who you are, where you're at. And anyway, so there we go for tonight. I'll see you again on Monday. Have a great week. Bye for now.